Good morning, everyone. Amit Kumar Singh. Welcome to the yet another session on operation risk. Today in this session, I'll teach you critical path method. Critical path method is very important when we talk about project. Till now, in the project management, we have understood theoretically what project management is all about, studied the steps involved in the project management, and then with that understanding of the project management, studied the arrow diagram. We understood the relation between arrow and the events. So arrow diagram and the events, what are events, what are activities, what are dummy activities. We have understood all this. Probably two sessions we have dedicated done the construction of network diagram. The construction of network diagram is very important to understand how we can work on CP part. So when we talk about critical path method is more or less, it is a deterministic way of working on a project. Critical path method, more or less, when we work on, we believe that we are very certain about the project need to be done, and based upon that, we decide our critical paths. So as you can understand by the term critical path method, we design our critical path which are integral, and without them the overall the process does not get over. So and then probably once you're done with deciding the critical paths, then we try to the floats. As you can see in this question, the three, as you in the question, I asked you to determine the floats. Here I asked to calculate the float. So there are three kinds of floats. What we'll discuss here. Those three kinds of floats are total float, free float, and independent. Discuss about them. What floats are all about. We'll discuss about them. So before we talk about floats are all about, before we discuss about floats, before we discuss about forward pass calculation and backward calculation, first let's draw the network diagram. So this is the question. So you can see this is the question. So this in this question you can see this question, the data is given to you. Let me read the question. So I believe you can write down this question by that time. The following table jobs of a project with their duration in days. Draw the network and determine the critical path. Determine all the flows. So also determine, so that word determine is not there. Also determine or also calculate all the flows. So guys, this is the data what is given to you. So this is the data given to you. Everyone please write down this question so that I can start solving this question. So what we're talking about here, so we in this question, the way we draw the network diagram with this, we will draw the network diagram given set of the question. So we'll draw the network diagram. The data for that network diagram is given to us. So the, like you can see the data, those data which is given to us. You can those data are in form of different jobs and the duration required to do that job, that is given to us. So once we are done with the drawing the diagram, so the first thing what we'll do, we'll talk about time analysis, and once the network of the project is constructed, the time analysis of the network, it become very essential for planning various activities of the project. This activity time is the forecast of the time for an activity which is expected to take place from the starting point to the completion, the normal condition. So then we'll talk about the earliest starting time of the project. We'll talk about earliest finishing time of the project. We'll talk about latest starting time of the project, about latest finishing time of the project. All that we'll discuss. We'll discuss about all that. And once we discuss them, then we work on our forward path calculation. And once we are done with the forward calculation, then we'll do backward Once we are done with forward pass calculation, backward pass calculation, then we'll determine our floats. So those floats can be total float, it can be free float, it can be independent float. We'll discuss about total float refer to the amount of time by which of the activity could be delayed beyond the earliest expected completion time without affecting the overall project duration time. So mathematically, total float is the difference between the latest start time and the earliest start time of that activity. When we talk free float is the time by which the completion of an activity can be delayed beyond the earliest finish time without affecting the earliest start of the subsequent succeeding project. And independent, the amount of time by which the start can be delayed without affecting the starting time of the any immediately followed activity, assuming that the preceding activity has already finished latest finish time. So we'll talk about all of them. So theoretically, I talked about what is total float, what is free float, what is independent float. Before we discuss about them, let's draw the network diagram. I believe by this time everyone has written down the question. So once you're done with writing down the question, now I'll draw the network diagram for this question. So this table, you can see this table, it shows the jobs of a project with their duration in days. So based upon the data, I need to draw the network diagram and I have to determine the critical path. So let's start drawing this diagram. So let's start drawing the diagram. So let's start drawing the diagram. So like you start with here. So suppose this is 1. So what is given? 1 to 2, 1 to 3. So 1 to 2, suppose this is 1 to 2. Okay, then 1 to 3. Then it is 1 to 3. Okay, 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 1 to 4. Then it is 1 to 4, something like this. So drawn the network diagram of activity 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 1 to 4. So I've done this 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 1 to 4, then 2 to 5, then 2 to 5, then 2 to 5, 1 to 3, 1 to 4, then 5, then 2 to 5, then 2 to 5, then 3 to 7, and then 3 to 7. So then 3 to 7. So then 3 to 7. So then 4 to 6, then 4 to 6, then 4 to 6. So then 4 to 6, then 5 to 7, then 5 to 7. So then 5 to 7, okay, to 7, and then 5 to 8, then 5 to 8, then 5 to 8 done, then 6 to 7, then 6 to 7, then 6 to 7. So like this you have to draw the diagram. Then 6 to, then 6 to 9, then 9, okay, then 6 to 9, then 7 to 10, then 7 to, then 7 to 10, 7 to 10, then 8 to 10, 8 to 10, then 8 to 10, and then 9 to 10, then 9 to 10, then 10 to 11, then 10 to 11, and 11 to 12. Done. Okay. So you can see this network diagram. So this is the network diagram what I have drawn. Writing the time 1 to 2, the time is 10. 1 to 3, the time is 8. 1 to 4, the time is 9. Then 2 to 5, time is 8. Then 3 to 7, time is 16. 3 to 7, the time is 16. And 4 to 6, time is 7. The time is 7. Then 5 to 7, the 7. 5 to 7, the time is 7. And then 5, the time is 7. And then 6 to 7, the time is 8. Then from 6 to 7, the time is 8 unit. 6 to 9, the time is 5 unit. 6 to 9, the time is 5 unit. And then 7 to 10, the time is 12 unit. 7 to 10, the time is 12 unit. And 8 to 10, the time is 10 unit. 8 to 10, the time is 10 unit. 9 to 10, the time is 15 unit. 9 to 10, the time is 15 unit. 10 to 11, the time is 8 unit. 11, the time is 5 unit. So you can unit, the time would be given maybe week or maybe day, maybe hours. So that duration to you. So based on this, you have to denote for every activity how much time you are going to take. The activity can be a normal activity or it can be dummy activity. So dummy activity does not involve any time. But you're working on a project, if in order to do any activity, you will consider, you will take some. So I'm talking about that time here. So everyone, okay. So everyone do this work. Everyone done this. Everyone, I believe, had drawn the diagram. I don't think anyone have any doubt with this diagram. Anyone have doubt with the diagram? Now at every node, you can see you have nodes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12. You know that you have 12 nodes. So at every 12 nodes, just make a rectangle like this. Now make this rectangle like this. Now at every node, make this rectangle like this. Now you have 12 nodes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now at every node, make this rectangle like this, everyone. Now at every node, make rectangle like this. Okay. Now after this, the step what I'm gonna do to fill the data, that is called forward pass calculation. Now the steps what I will do to fill the data, that is called as forward pass calculation. So what we'll do now, now we'll talk about something called forward pass calculation. Now we'll talk about forward pass calculation. Now we'll work on forward pass calculation. So you see for every node, you can see for every node, I have made this rectangle like this. Now you can see at every node, I made the rectangle like this. So in this rectangle, if this is and this is B, what is A stands for earliest start time. What is A? A stands for earliest start time. If for every node you see a rectangle like this where the two spaces you can see, the two spaces are given for every rectangle. So where the bottom part of that rectangle, that is called earliest start time, and the top part of rectangle is latest finish time. This is called as latest finish time. This is called as latest finish time. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to work on something called forward pass. I'm going to work on forward pass calculation to fill this data. I'm going to work on forward calculation to fill the data. So you have to understand this. So to fill the data, what is earliest start time, what is latest finish time, all that you have to understand here. So we'll try to understand all that before we fill this data. So understand whenever you get a project, whenever you have a project, whenever you get a project, whenever you get a project, so you can define the project under certain terms. You can define under the project. So whenever you get the project and you start working on the project, so whenever you get the project and you start working on the project and you start working project, whenever you get the project and you start working on a project and you start working on a project, so you should know few things, like few terms to be known, few terms can be known whenever you work on. So whenever you are getting a project and on the project, you should know few terms. What are those terms? Can be the duration of the project. It can be duration of activity. Those terms can be duration of an activity. The duration of an activity already I wrote. The duration of the activity already I have written down. The duration of the activity, you can see all all the things which are written in blue color. These are the duration of the activity. Then the next thing you should know is the earliest start time. Earliest start time. Earliest start time. The next thing you should know is the earliest start time of an activity. You should know the earliest start time of the activity. Earliest start time of the activity means like how soon you can start the project. That is called earliest start time. So then next thing is called as earliest finish time. The next thing you should know is called as earliest finish time of the activity. Then the next thing you should know is called earliest finish time of the activity. So duration, you know the duration of the project. Then earliest start time of the project means how sooner you can start the project. Then you can get the earliest finish time of the activity. So the earliest finish time of the activity is nothing but it is the earliest start time, like how soon you can start. It is the earliest start time of activity plus duration of activity. So that will give you the earliest finish time. So once you know the duration of the activity, once you know the duration of activity, and there's a term which you need to determine, that is called earliest start time. So earliest start time means how soon you can start the project. So how soon you can start the project, if you add the duration of the project on that, you will get the earliest finish time. Then the next term you should know, that is called latest start time. The next thing you should know, that is called as latest start time of an activity. The next thing you should know is called as latest start time of the activity. Latest start time of the activity means how late you can start. Latest start time of the activity means how late you can start. Okay, I'll give you an example to understand. Right now, you just write it down. So the next one is called as latest start time of the activity, and then if you add the duration with the latest start time of the activity, you can this latest, you can determine the latest finish time of the activity. You can determine the latest finish time of the activity. So again, we use the formula here. For the latest finish time of the activity, we use the formula. The latest finish time of the activity is the latest start time, is the latest start time of the activity. Latest finish time of the activity is the latest start time of the activity plus the duration of the activity, is the duration of the activity. So the latest finish time of the activity is equal to the latest start time of the activity plus the duration of the activity. So you should know these terms. You should know these terms when you work on the project. So these terms are very important. Before I start solving them by using forward pass calculation or by using backward pass calculation, you should know these terms. So earliest start time of the activity, latest start time of the activity, earliest finish time of the activity, latest finish time of the activity, where the earliest finish time of the activity is equal to the earliest start time of the activity plus the duration of the activity. Latest finish time of the activity, that is equal to the latest start time of the activity plus the duration of the activity. Now, I hope you are getting confused with the theoretical term what I'm using. Let me explain you with an example, then only you can understand. Suppose, suppose I gave you, I gave 9 days time. Suppose I gave you 9 days time to complete assignment. Suppose I gave you 9 days time to complete an assignment. Suppose I gave you an assignment and I gave you 9 days time to complete an assignment. I'm giving you example, okay? This example. So for example, suppose I gave you 9 days time to complete an assignment. Suppose I gave you 9 days time to complete an assignment. Okay. To do the assignment, if you do the assignment seriously, so do the assignment, time what will take to do the assignment, total time to be taken to do the assignment, total time what you can take to do the assignment, total time what you can take would be 4 days. So in 4 days you can easily finish the assignment. Okay, suppose I gave you 9 days time to finish an assignment. Suppose I told you, okay, this is the assignment, submit on this date. Suppose I gave you 9 days time to do assignment, but in reality, if you start solving the assignments easily, you can finish in 4 days. Okay. Now, based on this data, I try to explain you what is the earliest start time, what is the earliest finish time, what is the latest start time, what is the latest finish time. So based on this data, what I can do, I can talk about the earliest time. So what would be the earliest start time? So the earliest start time for this would be how soon you can start. Earliest start time is how soon you can start. How soon you can start. So those people sincere like Shruti or Priyanka, they will do on the day one. So the moment I give the assignment, they will start solving. So earliest start time means 0 day. Means the moment I give, you will start solving on day only. And then earliest finish time. So what would be the earliest finish time? So they'll start on the same day. What would be the earliest finish time? So if the duration of the project is 4 days, so when they can finish in 4 days. That is. So I hope you understood the earliest start time. You understood the earliest finish time. Okay, fine. So once you understood the earliest start time and earliest finish time, let's talk about the next term. That term is called latest start time. Latest start time, latest start time, and then the latest finish time, then the latest finish time. So, but there are some people who are very intelligent, they are very lazy. They will think, why should we do now? Because if we start doing now, probably we will finish in 4 days only. This assignment is only of 4 days, and we got 9 days time to solve this assignment. This is only 4 day assignment, and sir has given 9 days to solve this assignment. This assignment is only a assignment, and sir has given 9 days to solve the assignment. Okay, so why should we start now? So many people will start somewhere in middle, somewhere like that, this and all. Those are average students. I'm talking about those people who just want to do the work on the deadline. That sir is waiting to get the assignment, that time they are finishing. So for them, the term latest income. So here, for doing that work, so what they will do, they will not do forward calculation. They'll do backward calculation. They'll think, okay, what is the latest finish time by when I need to finish the work? They'll say 9 days because sir is coming after 9 days. So what is the latest finish time to do the work? They'll say 9 days. Okay. So mean 9 days, after 9 days the sir will ask. And how much time you take to do the work? 4 days. So what is, they'll say, okay, then what is the latest start time? They'll say 9 minus 4, that means 5 days. So they will start from 5th day and they'll complete on the last day on time. So here I hope you could have understood the meaning of these terms. Those terms are latest start time, latest finish time, earliest start time, earliest finish time. I hope you understood this. Okay, I hope you understood this. So what we will do here in solving this question, you can see this. There are 12 nodes are there. 12 nodes are there. So at every node will fill the information. Like you can see, the 12 nodes are there. At every node will fill the information. That every node will fill the information. You can see this like this. So what I will fill here, I'll fill here the earliest start time. What I'll fill here the earliest start time, means earliest, how early I can start the work. That is called earliest start time. And in the top, I'll fill the latest finish time. And here at the top, I'll fill the latest finish time. Okay. So first, what we'll do? We'll start the work by filling the earliest start time. So first, when I start solving the problem, this problem, so I'll fill the earliest start time. Here, I'll fill all this data: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. So I'll first what I'll do, you can see at every node you can see a rectangle where there's a top part, bottom part. So in the top part we fill the latest finish time, and the bottom part will fill the earliest start time. So what I'm going to do in order to solve the question, first I'll fill the bottom part of the data. In order to fill the bottom part, first I'll fill the bottom part of the data. In order to fill that bottom part of the data, what I'm going to use a method. That method is called forward pass calculation. What I'm going to do, I'm going to calculate the bottom part of the data. That bottom part of the data at every node, that is called earliest start time. So first I'll try to get the earliest start time. What I'm trying to do, I just want to know earliest, how early you can start the work. Means how early you can start the work and you can reach to the end. Okay, that I'm trying to do the first. So the earliest start time, what you can determine first, that I'll do in the beginning. And the method what I'm going to follow, that method is called forward pass calculation. So I'm going to use a method that is called forward pass calculation. By using forward pass calculation, I'll calculate how earliest I can do the work. Okay, so for doing that, so that method is called forward pass calculation. Very easy. It's very logical and all. So to do this. So now you can see here, so everything starts with 0. So the time I don't know. The time unit is not given, maybe hour or something, hour, days, month, anything it can be. So this is 0. So and you can see the duration is 10 hours. You can see the duration is 10 hours. You can see that this duration is 10. So if we start with 0, if the duration is 10, how much time it will take? 10 hours. Okay. So if we're starting with 0 hour and the total duration is 10 hours, how much time it will take? 10 hours. Okay. Now here, if we're starting with 0 and taking time for 8 hours, how much time it will take? It will take 8 hours. Very simple. Starting with 0, taking 9 hours. How much? When it will get over? After 9 hours. Very simple. Okay. Then after 9, you see this node 6. See the node 6. 9 plus 7. How much time it will take? 9 plus 7. How much time it will take? 9 plus 7. 16. So it will get over in 16 hours. Clear now? Everyone is understanding. Very simple. This is called forward pass calculation. So if you see the node 1, we will start the work with 0 hours. So we will start the work with 0 hours. We will start the work with 0 hours, and if we take 10 hours, so it will get end in 10 hours. Then you can see this node 5. If you see node 5 starting at 10 hours, it take 8 hours. So when it will get over? It will get over after 18 hours. Simple. Clear now, everyone? Everyone, I hope everyone is clear with that. Very simple. Okay. Now, if you see the node 7, 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 guys, it is very important. Guys, it is very important. If you see the node 7, if you see the node 7, at node 7, 2 activities over, 5 to 7 and 6 to 7. Just see the node 7. Node 7, at node 7, 2 activities are getting over. Activity 5 to 7. When it over, 18 plus 7. When the at node 7, when the activity 5 to 7 will get over, 18 plus 7. 18 plus 7, what is that value? 25. 18 plus 7, the value is 25. Okay. And then if you see 6 to 7, when that get over, 16 plus 8, that will get over in 24 hours. That will get over in 24 hours. So guys, you have to understand here that if you see the node 7, that node 7, in node 7, if you see the node 7, 2 things are getting over at node 7. One is activity 5 to 7. There's another activity called 6 to 7. If you see the node 7, 2 activities are getting over at node 7. If you see the node 7, 2 activities are getting over at node 7. One activity is called 5 to 7 and the other activity is called as 6 to 7. So 2 activities are getting over at node 7. So if you see that 6 to 7, the 6 to 7 is over in 24 hours, but 5 to 7 is getting over in 18 plus 7, 25 hours. So you have to understand when you can start working on node 7. You start working on node 7 after 25 hours because 6 to 7 activity got over in 24 hours. 6 to 7 activity got 24 hours, but 5 to 7 activity got over in 25 hours. So till that time you not finish the 5 to 7 work, you cannot start the other work. I hope you can understand. So the what is the earliest time to finish the work there? What is the earliest time to finish the work? That would be the 25 hours. Okay. Similarly, you can reach. You just need to be careful when two things are intersecting at that time. At that point, you have to take the value, greatest value. Now, if you see 5 to 8, that is 18 plus 7, that is 25. It is here. This is 25. 18 plus 7. 18 plus 7 is 25. No? Yeah. 18 plus 7 is 25. Now, if you see this node 9, 16 plus 5 is 21. Very simple. Okay. Now, if you see the node 10, 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 what is getting over at node 10? 3 activities are getting over in node 10. So you can see at node 10, you can see 3 activities are getting over. One is 8 to 10, the other one is 7 to 10, and the third one is 9 to 10. So 9 to 10, how much time it will take? 9 to 10, how much time it will take? That is 21 plus 15, that is 36. Okay. Then 7 to 10, how much time it is taking? 25 plus 12, that is 37. that is 37. And 8 to 10, how much time it is taking? It is 25 plus 10, that is 35. So what is the biggest value out of 3? So the biggest value out is 37. So when, if you have to understand here, if you take the node 10, if you take the node 10, at node 10, the 3 activities are getting over. One is 8 to 10. So when the 8 to 10 activity will get over, that will get over and after that will get over after 35 hours. Okay, if you see the activity 7 to 10, when it will get over, it will get over after 37 hours. If you see the activity, when it will get over after 37 hours. Then if you see, then if you see the 7, 10, 9 to 10, when the 9 to 10 will get over, 9 to 10 will get over after 36 hours. So you have to understand when you can start working after the node 10. So node 10, 3 activities are getting over. One is getting over after 35 hours, the other one is getting over after 36 hours, the other one is getting over after 37 hours. Till the time all the other 3 work does not get over, you cannot start working on node 10. So you have to wait for all the activities to get over. So when it can get over, ultimately after what time you can get over. So it can get over after 37 hours. I hope you can easily understand. Then if you talk about node 11, then and all is very easy. 37 plus 8, that is 45, and 45 plus 5, that is 50. Then, so what we did, we filled the bottom part of the data, and this method of filling the bottom part of the data, that is called as forward pass calculation. This method is called as forward pass calculation. It's very simple. You just need to use your common sense. You just need to see, you just need to keep in forward pass method, you just need to keep adding from left to right. You need to go from left to right in forward pass method. You need to go from left to right in forward pass method. You need to go from left to right, and probably you just need to add them. You just need to keep, and through forward pass method we fill the bottom part of the data which talks about the earliest time. So in the forward pass method we fill the bottom part of the data, that is called earliest time. So in the, you just need to add them. You need to go from left to right side. You need to go from left to right hand side. And whenever there's an intersection, 4 activities, whenever there's an intersection of more than one activity, you will take the maximum value of that. You have to determine what is the maximum time it's going to take. After that only you can do the work. Imagine you all people decided. Imagine you all people decided to go for some kind of morning walk. Imagine 3 of you have decided to go for morning walk. Okay, so you decided that we'll go for morning walk. Once all of them will reach to a particular point, maybe Surana College. So once all of them reach the Surana College, then only we'll go for morning walk. Maybe the first person reach at 6:15. Okay, then the second person reaches 6:20. Okay, so will you go for the morning walk at 6:20? No. You will wait for the third person to come. Suppose the third person came at 6:30. Then you will all 3 will go for the walk. So like the same way. So in forward pass calculation, we'll go from left to right hand side. And if at some node, if you see more than one activities are intersecting, you will take the maximum time. You will take the maximum time of finishing that activity at that node, and then only you'll go ahead. This is called forward pass calculation. Anyone have any doubt? Please ask me. Anyone have any doubt? So by this, what we are doing, we fill the bottom part of the data. With this, we fill the bottom part of the data. That was the earliest time. So we fill the earliest time of an activity. That was the bottom part of the data. Now we'll fill the top part of the data. That is called latest finish time. Now we'll fill the top part of the data. That is your latest time that we'll try to fill here. So when you're filling the top part of the data, for that we'll go from right to left hand side. Now I'll start from here. Now I'll start from here and I'll go here. So I'll start from node 12. Now I'll start from node 12. I'll reach node 1. So now I'll do backward pass calculation. Now I'll do backward pass calculation. Now I'll do backward pass calculation. I'll start from node 12 and I'll reach the node 1. Now I'll start from node 12 and I'll reach the node 1 by going back. So by going back, I'll try to fill the data. So I'll try to fill the data by going back. So by going back, I'll try to fill the data. So by going back, I'll try to fill the data here. So that work I'll do here now. So I'll go back. I'll go from node. So if I'm going back, so this would be the 50. I'm going back and I'll fill this data. So this is 50. So when you are going back, you are putting the latest time here. At the top, you put the latest time. At the bottom, you put the earliest time. So at the top, you will fill the latest time. At the bottom, you fill the time. Now you go back. So this is 50. Now this is 50. 50 minus 5. That would be 45. 50 minus 5. This will be 45. Now you'll go back. Now from 50, you did 50 minus 5. It becomes 45. Now you go back. You just subtract it. Just subtract it. Then 45 minus 8. 45 minus 8. It will become 37. So now you are going back. Now you are going back. When you go back from the right to left hand side. When you go back from right to left hand side. So what we are trying to fill, we are trying to fill the latest time. Here we are trying to fill the latest time. We are trying to fill the latest time. So we try to fill the latest time here. So that we are going to do here. So we are trying to fill the latest time. So we are going back. So from right to left hand side, you see a rectangle where I'm filling a rectangle, where the bottom part of rectangle talks about the earliest time. Part of rectangle talks about the earliest time, and the top part of rectangle talks about the latest time. When you fill the earliest time, you use a method that was called forward pass calculation, and when you're filling the latest time, you use the method that is called backward pass calculation. You're filling this data, so you from left you are going, and you are going from right to left, and you are filling the data. Now I hope this is easy. Anyone have any doubt, please ask me. Anyone have any doubt? Anyone have any doubt, please ask me. Okay, everyone is understanding, right? So now so it's very simple, it's not at all difficult. Now you're just going back. So you are going back. Now you can see here. So here this is 37. 37 minus 10. 37 minus 10, if I'll do, I'll get 27. 37 minus 10, if I'll do, I'll get 27. Now if you see this, now if you see the node 5, if you see the node 5, two activities are getting over here. If you see the node 5, two activities are getting over. So wherever the two activities are getting over, you will take the minimum of that value. If you see the node 5, two activities are getting over, guys. If you see the node 5, the two activities are getting over. So we'll take the minimum of that value. So two activities are going over. So here 37 minus 12, you will get 25. You will get 25. 37 minus 12, you will get 25. 37 minus 12, you will get 25. Okay. Now guys, so now if you see the node 5, guys, this is node 5, everyone, very important. Everyone focus on node 5. Now guys, if you see node 5, the two things are getting over. If you see node 5, the two activities are getting over. Two activities are getting over at node 5. So you will take the minimum of that value. Two activities are getting over at node 5. Two activities are getting over at node 5. Take the minimum of that value. So if you go from 5 to 8, if you take 5 to 8, when it will get over 27 minus 10, it will get over in 20 hour. And if you take 5 to 7, if you take 5 to 7, if you take 5 to 7, so when it is getting over 25 minus 7, that is 18 hours. So if you guys, if you see the node 5, if you see the node 5, the two activities are getting over at 5. If you see the node 5 guys, so if you see the node 5, so at node 5, the two activities are getting over at node 5. If you see the node 5, the two activities are getting over at node 5. One activity is activity 5 to 8. One activity is activity 5 to 8, and the other activity is activity 5 to 7. So if you see the node 5, two activities are getting over. One activity is activity 5 to 8, and the other activity is activity 5 to 7. So activity 5 to 8 is getting over in 20 hour. Activity 5 to 8 is getting over in 20 hour, while activity 5 to 7, it is getting over in 18 hour. The activity 5 to 7, it is getting over in 18 hour, while activity 5 to 8 is getting over in 20 hours. You have to take the minimum of that value. You have to take the minimum of that value. So what value you found minimum out of 20 and 18? So in forward pass calculation, you took the maximum of the value. In forward pass calculation, you took the maximum of the value. In backward pass calculation, you will take the minimum of the value. So what is that minimum value? So that minimum value is 18. That minimum value is 18. Okay, so I hope you understood this. So that minimum value here is 18. Then you can do 18 minus 8, this will become 10. 18 minus 8, this will become, and 10 minus 10, this becomes 0. So similarly, you can fill the other end of the data. Similarly, you can fill the other end of the data also. You can, if I see the node 9, if I see the node 9, this is 37 minus 15, that is how much? 22. This is 22. Then 37 minus 15 is 22. Then 22 minus 5, that is 17. If you see node 6, two activities are getting over. If you see node 6, two activities are getting over. One is activity 6 to 7, and the other activity is 6 to 9. If you see the node 6, the two activities are getting over. One, if you go back, if I'm going back, better I should say 7 to 6. If I'm going back, better to say 7 to 6, and better way to say is 9 to 6, because I'm going back. So better way of saying that 7 to 6 and 9 to 6. So 9 to 6 will get over in 22 minus 5, that is 22 minus 5 means 17 hour, and 7 to 6 will get over in 25 minus 8. 25 minus 8 is how much? 17 only, no? 25 minus 8 is 17 only. 3 plus 5, yeah. So here in both cases you're getting 17, so you can directly write 17. So there's no problem. Now 17 minus 7, that is 10. 17 minus 7, that is 10. Okay, that you can fill. Then you can fill here. If you see this node 3, so this is 25. 25 minus 16 is 9. 25 minus 16 is 9. So you can fill the data here. So like this, you can fill the data at every node. You can fill the data at every node. So you can fill the data at every node. So this way you can fill the data at every node. So node 1 I filled, node 2 I filled, node 3 I filled, node 4 I filled, node 5 I filled, node 6 I filled, node 7 I filled, node 8 I filled, 9 I filled, 10 I filled, 11 I filled, 12 I filled. Okay, so I've done with all my nodes. So ask me if anyone have any doubt. Ask me if anyone have any doubt. Anyone want to ask anything? Please ask me. Ask me, anyone want to ask anything? Hmm. Anyone want to ask anything? So now, once you're done with that, now what you can see, now you can see at every node, now you can see at every node, you can see, now you can see at every node, you can see at every node, you can see this data, this is A, this is B, this is basically the latest time to do the work, this is basically the latest time to do the work, and this is basically the earliest time to do the work. So you can see the data at every node. You can see a rectangle where I fill the two data, top and bottom, where the top part of the data is talking about latest time to do the work, and the bottom part of the data talks about the earliest time to do the work. Now if you go from one node to other node, if you go from one node to the other node, something like this. So now if you go from one node to other node, something like this, simply I'm writing, maybe this is 8, this is 9, this is 17, suppose this is 15, something like this, simply I'm telling. So if you see from one activity to other activity, something like this, and maybe here this is duration, maybe this is the duration. So what this call, this is the latest. So if you talk about this activity 1 to 2, so for this activity, this is the latest start time for this activity. For activity 1 to 2, this is the latest start time, and this is the earliest start time. This is the earliest start time. While for activity 1 to 2, this would be the latest finish time. This would be the latest finish time, this would be the latest finish time, and this would be the earliest, and this would be the earliest finish time, and this would be the earliest finish time. Okay, while similarly you have to understand, if I go to activity 3, similarly if I go to activity 3, so for activity 3, this will be the latest start time, this would be the earliest start time, this would be the latest finish time, this would be the latest, this would be earliest finish time. I hope you understand that part. So I'm just talking about activity 1 to 2. I'm talking about and I'm just talking about activity 1 to 2. Now I'm just talking about activity 1 to 2, and here we'll calculate something like, we'll talk something called total float. What is total float? Total float, what is total float? Total float is the latest finish time. Total float is the latest finish time. We'll calculate something called total float. Total float is the latest finish time at one activity minus the earliest start time, that is the minus the earliest start time minus duration, minus the duration, I to j. This is called total float. So in this case, maybe something like this, maybe this is x. So your total float would be 17 minus 8, that is 9, 9 minus x. That would be total float. Then we calculate something called free float. This total float, free float and all, I'll do tomorrow. Right now, I'm just giving you a little bit of information. Total float means you'll go back, like you'll go like this. So you will go like this. This is total float, 17 minus 8 minus duration. Then we'll talk about free float. Free float is the earliest finish time. Free float is the earliest finish time minus the earliest start time minus the earliest start time minus the duration. That is called as, this is called as free float. So what is free float? In free float, you go like this: 15 minus 8 minus duration. Okay. So total float is total float is latest finish time minus earliest start time minus duration. Free float is earliest finish time minus earliest start time minus duration. And then the next thing is called as independent float. Then the next thing is called as independent float. So when we talk about independent float is the earliest finish time. Independent float is the earliest finish time minus latest start time minus the latest start time minus duration. This is your independent float. So in independent float will go like this. This is your independent float. So we'll calculate these things tomorrow. So right now today I'll not discuss about the calculation of these three terms. Those are total float, free float, and independent float. But yeah, for solving the question, we should know this. We should know this. Now the agenda of today class is to talk about the critical path. The agenda of today class is to talk about the critical path. The agenda of today class is to find the total project duration. If I ask you what is the total project duration, what if I ask you what is the total project duration? So what is your total project duration? What is your total project duration? If I ask you what is your total project duration, if the unit of time is hour, so the total project duration is 50 hour. You can see the work is getting over in 50 hour. That is your total project duration. Okay, that is your total project duration. Now if I ask you, tell me the critical paths. Now if I ask you what is your, tell me the critical path. So total project duration, if I'm asking you, then the total project duration is 50 hours. You can see that very easily. Now if I ask you critical path, because what I'm teaching you something called critical path method. So I'm teaching you something called critical path method. So because I'm teaching you critical path method, so you have to determine, because I'm teaching you critical path method, so you have to determine basically what. So what you have to determine in critical path method, what you have to determine basically your critical paths. So the critical path here would be, what would be a critical path? So in order to determine the critical path, it is very easy. You just see the earliest, earliest time and the earliest time and the latest time. If they're same, then that would be the node of critical path. So you can see 0 0 10 10. So this is your critical path. 0 0 10 10. You can see 9 8. Here 10 9. So they can't be the part of critical path. Here you can see 18 18. So this is your part of your critical path. 18 18. This is your critical path. 18 18. Then you can see 25 25. So this is your critical path. This is your critical path. Then you can see 17 16. So if the latest time and the earliest time both are same, then it would be the component of critical path. Then 27 25, it can't be the critical path. Then you see 37 37. So it is a component of critical path. Then you can see 45 45. It is a component of critical path. Then you can see 50 50. It is a component of critical path. So your critical path would be what? Your critical path is 1 to 2, then 2 to 5, then 2 to 5, then 5 to 7, then 5 to 7, and then 7 to 10, then 7 to 10, then 10 to 11, and then 11 to 2. That is called critical. So today we'll discuss only this much. So tomorrow for the same question, we'll do all form of calculation. We'll do the calculation of total float, independent float, and free float. We'll talk about head event slack. We'll talk about tail event slack. We'll talk about them. So we'll talk about them. Anyone have any doubt? So this is critical path. In order to determine the critical path, what you can do, you just see the earliest time and latest time. If that is same for those nodes, for all the nodes for which earliest time and latest time is same, so that they can be the part of critical path. They can be the component of critical path. See this? Anyone have doubt? Ask me. Anyone have any doubt? Ask me. And tomorrow, along with this total float, free float, independent float, we'll use one more term that is called head event slack. That is called head event slack. So head event slack basically it means total float minus free float, that is called head event slack. And then there's another term that is called tail event slack, that is called as tail event slack. Tail event slack means free float. Tail event slack means free float minus independent float, that is called as tail event slack. So we'll talk about these terms. We'll talk in next class. We'll talk about these terms like what is, how to do the calculation of total float, free float, independent float, head event slack, tail event slack. All these calculation we'll do in next class. So anyone have any doubt? Today we talked about critical path. We talked about calculation of earliest time and latest time by using forward pass calculation and calculation of earliest time and latest time by using backward pass calculation. All that we have done, and then we talked about calculation of total project duration, also the calculation of critical path. This much we have done today. Anyone have any doubt? Ask me. Anyone have any doubt? Ask me. Anyone have any doubt? Please ask me before I wind up the class. Anyone want to ask anything before I wind up the class? So because nobody is saying anything, so I'm assuming that you have understood whatever I've done for the today class. So with that intention, I'm winding up the class. So guys, for after every class, I'm sending you the videos of the class. So I'm assuming that you people are going through these videos. You are doing enough practice for exam. If you don't do practice and all, it will become very big problem. I hope you can understand the importance of the subject. The maximum backlogs come from the subject only. So you have to take the subject very seriously. Refer Kalavati or J.K. Sharma or any book, V.K. Khanna, refer any book. Please refer any book on operation research and start solving the questions and come up with your doubts. If you have any doubt, take the photo of the question, send me back. I'll send you the answer of those questions of operation research. But please start solving the question. Please start doing the hard work. Without that, things will not be that much easy the way you people are assuming how you can do the work. So today class I have done critical path method. So where based on the data of the network diagram, we drawn the diagram, and then for every activity time was given to us. So we use forward pass calculation. We calculated the earliest time to do the work at every node. Once we done that, then we used backward pass calculation and we went from right to left and we found the latest time to do the work at every node. And then with that we can calculate the critical path for doing the work that we have done. And tomorrow we'll talk about the calculation of total float, free float, independent float, event slack, tail event slack. All that we'll do tomorrow. So I hope you understood whatever I've done. If anyone want to ask anything, please ask to me. So before I wind up the class. So nobody is saying anything. So I am assuming that you have understood whatever I have done for today's class. So with that intention, I wind up the class. Thank you very much. Bye.